So we got some pretty interesting news for you guys, including drones coming to Rust. Torghast has become a lot more accessible in World of Warcraft, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 may come out this year. Hello everyone, my name is Solomon SK for Coffee and RPGs, where we cover the latest news trends and updates for the MMO and RPG gaming genre. If you guys got your cup ready with your beverage of choice, I'm drinking coffee as always. Let's go over these articles together. Cheers to you guys.
Consider hitting the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification right next to it. Thank you.
Two things I wanted to bring up before we begin, and the first article we're going to go over here comes from The Verge. And if you guys didn't know, one of the first cartoons that I remember watching when I first came to this country as a kid was G.I. Joe. And it says here that G.I. Joe's Fortnite collaboration includes Snake Eyes skin and action figure. And so I thought this would be a really cool opportunity for me to kill two birds with one stone and talk about Fortnite because it's such a huge game, but also G.I. Joe because it's such a near and dear franchise from childhood that definitely makes me nostalgic when thinking about the late 80s, early 90s and stuff like that. So if you like both, well, you got something to look forward to. And next we head on over to PCGamesN.com, and really quick again, we actually had BlizzCon 2020 canceled last year because of the whole pandemic, and they will be introducing a BlizzCon of 2021, but they're calling it BlizzConline, whatever. But anyways, you get the idea. And this will take place in February 19th through the 20th of 2021 as well. Links to this will be down in the pinned comment section below if you're curious to take a closer look at exactly what will be featured in the convention. So let's go ahead and get started with a few articles from PCGamer.com. And the first article here reads, Rust is getting delivery drones, so your clan could be Murder Amazon. I will admit, the way that's worded just sounds a little weird, Murder Amazon, but anyways. Now this update will be arriving to this game on February 4th, and it does go on to say that they leave a central drone station and fly to nearby vending machines to retrieve purchases, and that the terminals will only be accessible from within safe zones and cannot be player crafted. Now in terms of uniqueness, there are a lot of games out there, but this one, in my opinion, seems to take the cake, and it says that fashion wrestling RPG Bravery Network Online releases in early access this month. Yeah, you heard that right. I do have the trailer playing right now, and I guess you dress up your wrestlers and you kind of pit them against other players in the world. It does go on to say that Bravery Network Online is a stylish RPG where you can unbutton your shirt for massive damage. Revealed at the PC Gaming Show all the way back in 2018, Bravery Network Online is a node to the competitive Pokemon scene, albeit one where instead of lightning rats punching a dragon, you're pitting 5-man squads with impeccably dressed fighters against each other. You guys already know that I love covering stories like this, especially games that no one's ever heard of, very unique ones, even if it's not necessarily my cup of tea. But if this is something that interests you, let me know down in the comment section below what you look forward to in this game, because I can honestly say I've never heard of a game like this ever before. Let's go ahead and shift gears here and head on over to masteroftheop.com, and the first article here says that Star Citizen's Tony Z on how dynamic events will work in the game. I haven't played much of the Star Citizen Alpha these days, and I didn't even know there were going to be dynamic events, and this actually really is good news to me. But it does go on to say that it's pretty easy to assume that the entirety of gameplay in Star Citizen will be player driven in the sandbox MMORPG. But the Assault of Staten event, and more specifically this week's Star Citizen Live, shows that dynamic events will also play a big role in terms of gameplay. They are planned to complete short stories that can either be local or have system-wide ramifications. The dynamic event is tied to the quantum background simulation tech, using some of the system's data structure to build up missions. I hope by digressing just a little bit it won't make the video too long, but I guess I'll edit it out if it is. But I'm really glad that they're implementing something like this, because I believe one of the things that made such games like ArcAge, for example, which is another huge sandbox MMORPG, a little difficult to play and a little, I guess, underwhelming, is because a lot of the spectacular fights and all the things that you could do and explore within the game were pretty much driven by the player, and unfortunately after a while they just become less frequent. So by having dynamic events, for example, I think Guild Wars 2 did a terrific job of doing that with their quest system. It breathes life into the game, and it actually makes it feel like it's being inhabited by other players or other NPCs, and just gives you a full immersion within the universe. And so I'm really pleased that they're actually doing this. And so how that will be implemented within the final product of the game, I'm not exactly sure, but again, if you want to check out the video, the links to this will be down in the pinned comment section below if you want to take a look for yourself. And in their next article, it says that World of Warcraft makes Torghast unlocks account wide, which is always good news for everybody, especially who wants to grind less. We actually talked about this a little bit from Sir Jaziel in our MMO RPG podcast that we do every weekend, so I won't go into it too much, but it does say that Blizzard hotfixed a way to share those achievements across your entire account, meaning that you only have to accomplish this once to enjoy the benefits of your army of alts. Next, let's go ahead and cover a single article from MMORPG.com. And you guys remember the Last Oasis, right? You know, the survival MMORPG. Anyways, I guess it could be worse. I mean, at least they're not doing as bad as Population Zero, but I don't know. Sorry, was that a cheap shot? I'm sorry to all the Population Zero fans out there. But anyways, their next article does go on to say that Last Oasis patch brings fixes and quality of life improvements. They're still rolling out new updates and just content for a lot of its players out there, so they must be doing something right and doing enough to at least have people interested in sticking around playing the game. But real quick, the article does include some patch highlights, including no building around proxy to prevent griefing, which is always good. I'm not a griefer, nor do I like being griefed. Fixed loot going through walls, fixed invisible players even, didn't even know that was a problem, and crash fixes as well. Next, let's head on over to GameRant.com, and in their article it says rumor Mass Effect Legendary Edition trailer coming very soon. And really quick, you're gonna ask yourself, okay, so when is it? And I love how you have to scroll all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down to finally get the information that you want. And possibly, again, take this with a grain of salt because these are rumors. It says that players will need to wait about maybe one more weekend for the trailer, meaning that its release is just around the corner, supposedly dropping between February 8th and February 14th. That's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to set up my channel like this, so I just give you guys the information, the most important facts, and just move on instead of having to go through all the articles and through a bunch of nonsense and whatever, not to toot my own horn, but anyways, moving on. All right, everyone, so let's go ahead and switch gears one more time and head on over to gamesradar.com. And in their first article, it says that the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 will launch in the second quarter of 2021, according to a retailer leak. And this potential leak was actually caught by an Australian retailer, and it goes on to say that it was spotted on Reddit with a list of upcoming Nintendo Switch games on gameware.at, and it said that the Breath of the Wild sequel would be coming out in the second quarter of 2021. I'll have a link to this down in the comment section below, as always, if you want to check out the Reddit post. But there is something important to note. And it says that if we're going by calendar year, that would mean that Breath of the Wild 2 would be arriving sometime between April and June. But given the fact that there has been very little word from Nintendo since the game's announcement in 2019, it seems more likely that the window is referring to the financial year, placing a second quarter release anytime between July and September of this year. And to me, that last date of between July and September seems to be a little bit more plausible, you know, just in time for the 2021 holiday season and stuff like that. But at any event, these are rumors at the end of the day, so any one of these two could definitely be plausible. And for the last part of this article, it does say that while it's definitely worth taking a potential leak with a pinch of salt, it's important to know that GameWare does have something of a track record. Last year, the storefront correctly announced the worldwide release date for Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. And in their next article, it says that Final Fantasy VII Remake devs tease a little of what Part 2 could offer. And honestly, after reading the entire article, I just didn't really seem like they said much. And if there was anything of substance, in my opinion, it would be found right here. And they say that they can't reveal much about the development of Part 2, but they did say the team wants to take the level of detail found in Midgar in the first part of Final Fantasy VII Remake and apply it to the rest of the world in Part 2. And lastly, we do have one article from allchar.com, and I do apologize that the title is cut off on the right there, but it does say that the Division 2 is getting 4K 60 FPS support on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X tomorrow meaning today as of recording of this video, and here are the full patch notes. I'm not going to go every single detail of the patch notes here, but do know that this is title update 12.1 and the Resident Evil crossover event is included in this update as well. There's also optimization station changes, that kind of sounds like a tongue twister, as well as multiple I'm already twisting my tongue. Bug fixes as well, and you can check these out if you are a Division 2 fan down in the comment section below if you care to look. And that concludes today's episode of MMO and RPG news, updates, and commentary. I really do appreciate it if you made it with me so far, as that significantly helps the watch time. And if you feel as though I have earned your subscription, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification icon right next to it. Anyways, everyone, I will finally let you guys go. Hope you guys have a blessed night, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.